Today in our 2012 Kia Soul, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Universal Installation Kit for Trailer Brake Controllers, part number ETB-C7. Now this is what our 7 and 4-way looks like when it's installed. It's going to give you all the proper lighting for your trailer. It's also going to give you the option that if you have a trailer with only a 4-pole, that you can hook up just to the 4-pole. This is going to be for vehicles that are not equipped with a tow package. So what we'll do is you have a spring-loaded lid here. It's going to help keep the moisture and stuff, the elements out from on your connections. It's going to have a little tab that's going to lock your plug into place so it won't pull out while you're driving. Now we can use this with trailers that have brakes on them. However, you would need a brake controller. Now I do recommend checking your owner's manual to make sure you don't exceed your vehicle's towing capacity. To begin our installation, this vehicle is already equipped with a 4-pole flat. So what we're going to do is we're upgrading it to a 7-pole with a 4-pole. So we're just going to take our 4-pole that comes in our new kit and hook it up directly to the 4-pole that's already on the vehicle. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm just going to run it in between both of them. This is going to keep our plugs together, keep them from coming apart. I remove the dust cap because it's not going to be in use. You can leave it on, keep it, it's up to you. Take some electrical tape and I'll just wrap it around my plugs. We're going to put a long bracket in. Now this doesn't come with your kit. So what I'm doing is I'm running my tube clamp through this hole in the bracket and around the hitch. Once I find my place on my hitch where I want it to mount, you'll take this bolt, you'll lift it, and you just feed the clamp through the inside of it. Then we'll take a 5/16 socket to tighten it down. So now what I did is because my bracket was angled and I was worried about it scratching the bottom of the car, I took some channel locks and I bent this front part of it flat so it'll sit level with the car. Now we can go ahead and cut off our excess. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my long bolt with a large washer. I'm going to set my bracket up here on top, line up my holes, and I'm going to come up from the bottom. I'm going to take a washer, follow it up by a nut. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And I'll take a Phillips screwdriver, tighten them up. Next we'll take our 7-pole wires. We'll just run them up through our bracket. Then we're going to take our long bolts that come in our kit, and we're going to foul that up with a nut that has a washer already attached. And we're going to repeat that in all 4 corners. Now we'll take a flathead screwdriver and a 9mm wrench. Go ahead and snug those up. This customer is going to be using a radio frequency brake controller, so we're not going to be using the blue or the purple wire. So I'm just going to tape them off to my 4-pole wiring in case he wants to use them later on. Now I'm going to take some wire loom, go ahead and wrap it around these wires here. Try and get as much as I can in there. Take it off. Then taping this up and putting the wire loom on is going to help protect our wires when we have them tucked up behind our bumper. Next I'm going to take my excess wire, I'm going to bundle it up, and I'm going to zip tie it right up to the back of the hitch. So what I'm doing is I'm finding a good place for my grounds. Now this is the frame rail here, but you can see it's a little dirty. So I'm just scraping off some of the stuff here. Give me a good clear spot. So now I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol, kind of clean up the spot there so we know we'll have a good connection. So next we're going to take our ground wire and we're going to go back behind this bracket here. Now we'll take a 5/16 socket with one of our self-tapping screws. And what we want to do is we want to tighten it. We don't want it so tight that you bend or break the ring terminal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my excess along with my power that I'm going to be running to the front. I'm going to tape them to my wire loom. Now I can take my excess white wire or my ground. We'll run a zip tie right up here on top. So I'm actually going to replace this butt connector with a heat shrink butt connector because this is going to be outside of the vehicle. Just going to help better protect the wire and the connection that we're going to make. So I'm going to strip my wire. Now this doesn't come in your kit, but you can find one on our website. Crimp it down, make sure you have a good connection. As you can see, I have a black and a white wire here. Now my white wire normally would be for my ground, and your black wire is going to be for your power. But since this vehicle already had the 4-pole installed, and we just put the ground from our new 7-pole on the back of the vehicle, we're not going to be using this white wire. So I'm just going to strip this back a little bit, just enough to where I can get access to the black wire, so I can hook it into my power wire on my 7-pole. Now we'll put our other end of our black wire in the other end of our butt connector and crimp it down. Next we'll take our heat gun and shrink it up. So now we'll just cut this end off of this white wire. I'm going to take some electrical tape. I'm going to go from about here all the way down to here. I want to make sure I cover the white wire. Now I need to run this up to the front. Let me do it real quick and I'll show you how I did it. So what I did is I ran my jacketed wire across the bottom of my trunk pan. I went around this so I'd stay away from the shock. Zip tied here, came around the front, zip tied here, ran it right through here, zip tie along these existing lines to my battery. So next, we're going to take our 40 amp circuit breaker. We're going to find a place to put it. I'm going to make sure there's nothing behind and take one of your included self-tapping screws. This is going to be a 1/4 inch socket. So now I'm going to cut off the extra here. I can use what I need. Now we're going to hold on to the extra that we cut off because we're going to be using it to run from the terminal over to the battery. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to route it however I can to here. Now we're going to strip back our power wire here. We're going to take one of our small ring terminals that's included in our kit, crimp it down, then go ahead and cut our white wire down. I'm going to take some electrical tape, I'm going to wrap from here up around here. Now on our circuit breaker, you're going to have an auxiliary, then you're going to have a battery. It's going to be marked. We're going to take one wire, we're going to put it on the auxiliary side. So now what I'm going to do is I have my extra wiring. So I'm just going to pull this apart to get my black wire out. I'm going to strip one end, put my small ring terminal on it, strip our other end, and we're going to put a large ring terminal on that end. Again, we're going to take our small ring terminal. This one's going to go on the battery side. Go ahead and replace the nut. And we're going to run our other end over to the positive side of the battery. Now we'll take a 3/8 socket and we'll tighten down the two nuts here on our circuit breaker. Next we'll take a 10mm socket, remove one of these nuts here. We'll take our large ring terminal here on our positive side, and then we'll replace our nut. Now we're going to test it out using an alternate source. Left turn, right turn, brake lights, running lights. And that'll do it for the universal installation kit for trailer brake controller, part number ETB C7 on our 2012 Kia Soul.